In Module 6, Lesson 1, we're going to look at how to pose a statistical question. Statistics are all about using data to answer questions. And so we'll be looking at these 4 steps to summarize our work. Step 1 will be being able to pose a question that can be answered by data. And then we'll determine a plan to collect the data, summarize the data with graphs and numerical summaries, and answer a question posed in step 1 using that data. So what is a statistical question? Jerome, a 6th grader at Roosevelt Middle School, is a huge baseball fan. He loves to collect baseball cards. He has cards of current players and of players from past baseball seasons. With his teacher's permission, Jerome brought his baseball card collection to school. Each card has a picture of a current or past Major League Baseball player, along with information about the player. When he placed his cards out for the other students to see, they asked Jerome all sorts of questions about his cards. Some asked, how many cards does Jerome have altogether? What is the typical cost of a card in Jerome's collection? And where did Jerome get the cards? Not all questions are statistical questions. So we want to look at what determines a statistical question. In exercise 1 to 5, we'll look at each of these questions and tell why, whether or not they are statistical questions, and why. Who is my favorite movie star? This question can be answered with one answer and one answer only. A statistical question has to have more than one answer so you can collect data. There's no data to collect. There's one right or correct answer, and that's it. Next question, what are the favorite colors of 6th graders in my school? This is a statistical question because the colors will vary, and we can collect the data on how many people choose different colors. How many years have students in my school's band or orchestra played an instrument? This also is a statistical question because the number of years will vary. What is the favorite subject of 6th graders at my school? This as well is a statistical question because the subjects will vary. And the last question, how many brothers and sisters does my best friend have? Is not a statistical question because there is only one correct answer. So when we move along, this should go a little quicker. How old am I? Remember, a statistical question has to have more than one answer. It has to collect data on a variety of answers. So how old am I is a simple yes or no, or a simple one answer question. So this is a no. What's my favorite color? Again, would be one answer, so no. How old is the principal at school? Still, no. So all 3 of those questions are not statistical questions. And again, it is because they all have one answer. Ronnie, a sixth grader, wanted to find out if he lived the farthest from school. Write a statistical question that would help Ronnie find the answer. So in order for the question to be statistical, we're going to have to be able to collect data that varies. So we might have a question something like, what is the typical distance from home to school for students at my school? Next one, write a statistical question that can be answered by collecting data from students in your class. So there are certainly many different questions we could ask, but we could ask something like, how many pets are owned by each person in class? Okay, and if we wanted to change this last question, how old is my math teacher, we could change it to how old, or what is the typical age of teachers in my school, which of course includes more than one teacher. So it would have more than one age to collect. We use two types of data to answer statistical questions. There's numerical data and categorical data. If we recorded the age of 25 baseball cards, we would have numerical data. Each value in a numerical data is a number. If we recorded the team of the featured player for 25 baseball cards, you would have categorical data. Although you still have 25 data values, the data values are not numbers if it's categorical data. They would be team names, which you can think of as categories. So when we look at each of these data sets, we're going to tell whether it is categorical, which remember is something that is not number, it's just a category, or numerical. First of all, the heights of 26 graders. Well, those are numbers, so that would be numerical. Favorite flavor of ice cream for each of 10 sixth graders. That would be categorical, because vanilla is definitely not a number. Hours of sleep on a school night for 36 graders. That would be numerical. Type of beverage drank at lunch for each of 15 sixth graders. Again, that would be categorical. The eye color would be categorical. The number of pencils in each desk would be numerical. For each of these next following statistical questions, students asked Jerome to identify whether the data are numerical or categorical. How old are the cards in the collection? That would be numerical, and there could be a variety of different answers there, but he may say 2 years, 1 year, 20 years. There are many different varieties. Second question, how much did the cards in the collection cost? Well, most certainly he would have purchased cards at different times and in different, sometimes in packs, sometimes individually, so there's a whole variety of prices. And again, this is numerical data, and there would be a whole variety of different prices that we could list. And then where did you get the cards is categorical, and there would be a number of different stores that Jerome typically goes to. that he gets those cards, and so we could gather that data as well. So remember, a statistical question is one that can be answered by collecting data that varies. And there are two types of data, numerical and categorical.